Hi, and welcome to the Nalanda College Science and Research Society's YouTube channel. You are here with us for another episode of Trailblazer Talks with our very own Rakindu Wickramrathne. He is a well known researcher and he has made incredible contributions in the field of biochemistry. He's one of our very own, a past pupil of Nalanda College and a past member of the Nalanda College Science Research Society. Here is a small introductory video detailing the many achievements of Rakindu Wickramrathne. So, I to start off, could you give us a small overview about the research projects you've done while you were at Nalanda?
Well, yeah, sure. I did two projects. The first one was on whether air pollutants could deposit on pollen grains in urban environments, increasing the chance of respiratory allergies. And then the second one was on the effectiveness of a plant called Nauclea orientalis as an inhibitor of endometrial carcinoma cells.
And how successful were the relevant researchers at accomplishing what you set out to do?
In the first study, on pollen grains, the results did show there is a clear difference between pollen grains found in urbanized areas with that of the same species in rural areas. So it kind of proved the point that air pollution has an effect. And on the second one, the fruit of Nauclea orientalis, an extract of it was found effective with the endometrial carcinoma cell lines, and it showed quite a high inhibition rate. So yeah, it was successful, I'd say.
So the researches that you have done are quite niche, right? They're both quite unique. Could you explain to us how you arrived at the topics? What made you realize that is what I want to do a research in?
Well, the pollen grains one, I kind of wanted to find out how air pollution could affect even like small structures like pollen. So that's what prompted me to evaluate the difference between urbanized and rural areas in this case. The pollen was a good idea that came to me because respiratory allergies and hay fever and pollen allergies are kind of already well known, right? What I wanted to find out was whether this condition could be escalated due to air pollution. And when it comes to the other project, the fruit of Nauclea orientalis, if you've seen this, it's kind of a weird looking fruit. I wanted to see if in some way this could show an inhibition property against a type of cancer. I wasn't sure if it's going to be endometrial carcinoma, but some type of cancer I thought could be effective against something, and it worked out with, well, one of the extracts worked out. We tried the peel, we tried the flesh of the fruit and stuff like that. So at the end, it worked out.
I'm sure so the researchers have helped you immensely in furthering your education and your career. Oh, what are you doing as of now in regards to higher education or post-secondary education?
Well, I'm currently studying a Bachelor of Engineering at Swinburne University in Melbourne, Australia. Um, and I'm majoring in mechanical engineering, which is fundamentally about applying physical concepts of mechanics, thermodynamics, and fluid dynamics with material sciences to design and construct various machines.
When you were furthering your education or career, did the international experience you gained through the research help you?
In the international competitions that I participated in my school days, I got a lot of experiences and developed a bunch of skills from that. That's the bottom line, really, from critical thinking, analytical skills, and scientific writing. Those were around, well, my project itself, to presentation skills and cross-cultural communication, which were more around participating in the event, right? So these things are currently helping me in my academic journey. Um, and when it comes to the international experience I'm having now, well, so far I really enjoyed the experience of studying overseas, from the academic coursework itself to meeting new people, discovering new places, and also facing challenges effectively like COVID-19.
Speaking of which, you've faced a lot of international competitions. Would you mind telling our viewers which international competitions you've faced? I'm sure they'd love to know.
Yeah, sure. The first one was the International Conference of Young Scientists, or ICYS, 2017, which was held in Stuttgart, Germany. And then the next one was IRISE, or the International RMC Young Scientist Conference, 2017, which was held in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And then again, APCYS, Asia Pacific Conference of Young Scientists, 2017. That was held in Kathmandu, Nepal. And then ICYS again in 2018, and that time it was held in Belgrade, Serbia. In total, I was able to win 4 silver medals and 1 gold medal in these contests. Yeah.
So what influenced you to get into research in the first place?
Well, when it comes to science itself, or more broadly disciplines in STEM, I was interested in them from the beginning because they are fundamentally governed by facts that can be practically observed, right? So yeah, I was interested in science from the beginning, but it takes a bigger push to actually attempt to do a research and discover something new. Basically, I'd say you just need to have a research mindset, or a tendency to question existing ideas and create new ones. That's what I say you need, is to start a scientific research.
I mean, you need to be the person who will ask.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you have to have a passion in a field to do a specific research. But the more important thing is that you have to have that research mindset, or question existing ideas and try to come up with something new in specific aspect of an idea. Of course, you can just, of course, it's probably more difficult to put forward a whole new idea, which is to a field that was never discovered, right? You have to know what the existing literature is and find something new. So yeah, I think those are the two main things you do need to have to do a research. You need to have the passion and you need to have a drive for innovation.
It makes sense. You need to have passion and you need to be able to push yourself and still enjoy it to make you wanna come back for more. Yes. So I'm sure. I mean, there are lots of researchers at Nalanda all over Sri Lanka, and most of our viewers, I'm sure, are researchers as well. And they are quite intimidated by the idea of starting a research because there is a stigma around it being difficult and time-consuming and incredibly straining. What advice would you give to a young researcher starting out?
Well, the most obvious thing is to just start with questioning an idea and then think creatively to find a solution. There's actually a guiding technique where after you discover what you want to do and what specifically to what question you want to answer, you could think divergently for some time and jot down even the most absurd of solutions, then think convergently to use the most practical idea or make one practical. This way, ideas aren't left out in the initial thought process, so there's a high chance you figure something out. So yeah, if you do start with thinking creatively to find a solution, it isn't necessarily enough to do a research because you kind of need to have a drive for innovation to go out of your way to test the hypothesis and go through that cycle again and again until you arrive at a valid solution. So if it's true that it's easy to give up in anything in life, it's definitely true for researching. You just have to try continuously. I think that's the most basic advice I'd say. But going a bit more technical, I'd say if you are planning to be a researcher, you should always analyze the credibility of your information sources and then ensure your experimentation is effective for what you're testing. Interpret the results in an unbiased manner. If you're not sure with something in the discipline, consult an expert.
I mean, you said like it's definitely easier to give up in life, but it's not easier to live with yourself once you've given up.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. In your journey through scientific investigation, has it inherently taught you anything? Any personality traits or any life lessons that you've learned solely because of your journey in science research?
Yeah, that's a really good question. For one, I'd say I've gotten used to a more critical viewpoint when analyzing facts and arguments, especially in differentiating facts from opinions, analyzing credibility of an information source, and minimizing my own cognitive bias. And then I'd say I've gotten used to seeking loopholes and questioning aspects of an idea, simplifying or expanding idea to suit a specific audience is something I've learned from stuff like presentations or just impromptu conversations or research. So yeah, these are some of the things that I initially had to learn when researching, but then adapted to my own lifestyle.
I mean, anything can be adapted to our own lifestyle. And for example, skills like critical thinking and discerning facts from opinions. I mean, that's incredibly important, especially when you are living in today's world.
Yeah, that's really true because in the digital age, I mean, there's a lot of sources saying a lot of stuff, but it's really important that you have a critical eye and find what's actually correct, right?
And I mean, I think everyone has a hard time discerning facts from their own opinion. And most people make the mistake of assuming their opinions are facts because they think it is theirs. But I'm sure your experience has taught you that.
Definitely. I mean, researching itself and studying science, it's one of the most important things that you differentiate your opinions from the objective truth.
You have been able to achieve so much and you are still so young. You are definitely a trailblazer, a pioneer. Is there anyone that helped you, that pushed you to achieve so much? Is there anyone that you think in particular deserves praise for their contribution in your life?
I mean, yeah, well, if you're specifically referring to my research projects during high school, I mean, of course, the first people I'd like to thank is my parents, right? They kind of pushed me to question things, and especially my dad, he pushed me into trying to do research and stuff like that. So, yeah, and more into institutions, I'd say the Sri Lanka Institute of Nanotechnology, the University of Colombo, especially the Department of Plant Sciences and the Institute of Biochemistry, Biotechnology, and Molecular Biology, and the Medical Research Institute, and again, some of people, Dr. Samira Samarkon, Dr. Susiriwardena, Professor Nalanda Silva, Dr. Anil Samarnayaka. They were some of the supervisors that directed me in the correct path when it comes to my specific research projects. And of course, I'd like to acknowledge Nalanda College for letting me have the opportunity to undertake research during my study. Especially, I'd like to thank Mrs. Upeksha Besekar from the Nalanda College Science Research Society for helping me and many others find their passion in research.
So I guess that's all. Thank you so much for joining us and taking time out of your.
Thank you for having me.
And folks, that's another episode of Trailblazer Talks. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel and watch the latest video. The link is down in the description.